Am I the idiot for getting up from my chair in the middle of Christmas dinner and shouting, "Shut the F up about my body," in response to my husband's observation? So, ever since I had my son months ago, my husband has started making indirect or ECT comments about my body. He never says any hurtful words, but I find his observations, as he calls it, hurtful. For example, he'd see me wearing an old top and say, "Oh, that top used to look good on you, but not anymore though." Or when he looks at my waist and says, "Wow, didn't know your waist could get this wide." Basically passive stuff that I tried to ignore till it extended to friends and family. FYI, this went on for months and months and months. We went to Christmas celebration at his family's home. My son-in-law complimented my floral maxi dress and my husband said, "I agree, it looks nice on you. Though I have to admit that your waist could get smaller than this." Awkward silence took over. I was absolutely fuming, and this was my last straw. So I got up from my chair in the middle of dinner and shouted at the top of my lungs, "Shut the fork up about my body." He was absolutely speechless as his family stared while some others tried to get me to calm down, but situation got more tense and dinner ended up being cut short and my husband storming off to his friend's place to spend the night upon leaving a very nasty text saying I embarrassed him and made a scene over an observation he made. He called me childish and told me to get therapy for my insecurities instead of verbally abusing him and scaring his family. Now I feel like an absolute idiot a whole and like I ruined Christmas for him and everybody with my oversensitivity. Am I the idiot? The top replies, "I think the last thing your husband really wants is for you to get therapy. If you do, you'll discover that he is an emotionally abusive bully and stop feeling guilty for refusing to put up with his BS. Not the idiot, but your husband is. Do as he recommended and get therapy so that you can regain the self-confidence he has eroded with his cruel observations." The second reply, "Not the idiot. Divorce him. He's gaslighting you. His observations, as he calls them, are all direct or ECT insults. He is actively body shaming you. Likely on purpose and fully aware of what he's doing. He wants you back as you were before and fails to realize that bodies change. He is abusing you mentally, verbally. You simply reach the breaking point and let it out. Don't start bottling up again. Rebuke him every time he says SMTH, in front of everyone until he either learns or leaves. Or in other words, he's shown his true colors." The third reply, "He knows exactly what he's doing. Not the idiot. I also can't overlook how he casually shames her for the changes her body has gone through, in order to, I assume, produce and birth his freaking offspring. How can someone be so disrespectful? The pain and stress a woman goes through in order to create a new life go completely unnotices with him. So much spite, it makes me angry to read how easily she even accepts this. She sacrificed her body for her child. I do agree with the suggestion to actually get therapy. To be able to stand up to men like this, and to learn to cherish the changes that come with pregnancy and childbirth. I wear them with pride. But I'm also very grateful that I have a husband who will kiss my stretch marks, call them tiger stripes, and point out how they show off my strength and make me sexier. Original poster deserves so much better than that. The second story. Am I the idiot for getting my fiancé's family gifts that were too personal for Christmas when I'm new to them? I'm engaged to Noah and this was the first Christmas I spent with his family. I met them in the summer after we moved to be near his family now that he's finished with college. We're getting married in February and we're expecting our first child together in May. Being someone who has no family and seeing how close his family was, I wanted to make sure I showed my appreciation for them with the gifts I gave, so I tried to get something each person would love. One of his sisters loves to read and so I made a book sleeve for her with little details from all her favorite books. One of his nieces is on the spectrum and has wanted clothes for her stuffy, so I made some clothes for her to put on the stuffy. I bought his mom a jewelry box that she had admired a couple of times after she mentioned never having a real one. For his dad I bought him a frame for his office big enough to hold photos of his whole family on, since he always complained he couldn't find one big enough or nice enough, and had no more room for individual frames. I included photos Noah had provided me in it. I got his other sister her favorite makeup which she mentioned she couldn't afford to buy lately. Then I got his brother a signed piece of memorabilia from his favorite sports team. For the rest of the nieces and nephews, I bought wish list items the parents weren't getting. Noah thought they would love everything. He told me I didn't need to go to the effort I did. I spent weeks tracking everything down and searching for certain items, but he really thought they'd like them. But when Christmas Day happened, I could tell something was off. I spent the whole time worrying that I had bought them stuff they didn't like anymore or something. They said nothing. But then the next day they asked Noah what the hell I was thinking, and I was like some kind of stalker buying them such personal stuff when I'm an almost stranger to them. The next day we saw them again and I apologized for the gifts I gave them and told them I would be a lot more mindful in the future. I offered to make it up to them. One of his sisters called me a stalker to my face and told me it was no wonder my family didn't want me if I was so creepy to do stuff like that. Noah yelled at her. I apologized again and told them I didn't want to hurt anyone and I would learn from this. They told me I had overstepped. Noah said we were leaving and they owed me an apology. I feel so bad. Noah is supporting me and told me I did nothing wrong. But surely there wouldn't be so much offense if that were true. I need to ask, am I the idiot? Also, not sure if this is relevant or not, but I grew up in an unhappy home. My parents were unkind to me and my sister. She was much older and also hated me. I think maybe because of how our parents treated her. But I ended up with nobody who wanted me by the time I was 16 and I was homeless for a good period after that. That's what Noah's sister meant. I had told them honestly when they asked. The top comments. Original poster should have a deep conversation with her fiancé about this situation. The family's behavior is so mind-bogglingly atrocious that I think something deeper is probably happening. They're upset that their son is marrying young, or about to become a father in lieu of traveling or going to grad school or whatever, or that they wanted lots of in-laws themselves. Regardless, the couple needs to figure out what is really going on here. An original poster needs to figure out whether her fiancé is willing to stand up for his spouse to his family over the long term. Unless they're really convincing explanation for their behavior, along the lines of "we were all brainwashed by aliens that morning," I think they need to plan to live somewhere other than the fiancé's hometown. The second reply. I'm curious how original poster figured out what to get for each person. I wonder if she just paid close attention to their conversations and wrote down / remembered things they said they wanted, or if she scoured their social media for random, obscure details about them. Either way, original poster is not the idiot and she has an open invitation to ditch these idiots and come join my family Christmas whenever the hell she wants. But I wonder if their reaction is coming from a place of feeling like she has information about them that they did not specifically disclose to her, but posted online, or was common family knowledge that Noah could have passed on, which is why there's absolutely no excuse for their unforgivable rudeness and cruelty. The third reply. Not the idiot. This is so incredible to me. You went out of your way to make Christmas special for them and to give them things they've been wanting or needing for years. You worked alongside your fiancé to make sure you got them thoughtful gifts. If they think so much consideration is an issue, they must have a pretty miserable relationship with one another. Guess they've gotten used to generic scarves, gift cards, and chocolate. Everyone is the idiot. I wanted to clarify something that might sound strange. I had spoken to them on the phone before, but we had not met in person until this year. With COVID and us living in a different city at the time, I had not gotten the chance. But they were genuinely all close before this. Sorry for another edit. I just wanted to clarify that we had met in person before Christmas, and more than once too, but I feel like I messed up expressing that here. I met them for the first time in the summer. Also, since people have been asking, they got me gift cards and they did not return the gifts. The third story. Am I the idiot for telling my cousin how his wife really felt about their cheap wedding? My 24F sister, 30F, is getting married. Her and her fiancé are going all out, no expenses spared, just like she always said she would. It's going to be an extravagant affair with hundreds of guests, and she's thrilled planning it. Our antisocial cousin, 31M, makes pretty good money as a software engineer, but he has no social awareness and is extremely cheap. He would literally sleep on a director tie mattress on the floor with nothing in his house but a TV and console if his wife let him. That's what he was doing before they met. He thinks dressing presentably and having a decent home is materialistic. Now, my sister and I happily identify as materialistic, but he means it negatively when he says it. Since my sister started planning her wedding and gushing about it to me and some other people, not him, he always butts in with some smarmy remark about how weddings are stupid. What kind of stupid woman would spend tens of thousands on a wedding, and brags about how he married his wife last year in their backyard and her ring was $200 from a strip mall and she was ecstatic. Today, my sister was gushing to me and my mom and some female cousins about her bachelorette party. My cousin came in and interrupted to brag that his wife never had a bachelorette party and would never want one because they're a waste of money, and she's so much more practical and less materialistic than most women. I decided to let him know how his wife really feels since she complains to us all the time about him and his cheap habits. I told him about what actually happened on their wedding day. Hours before the ceremony, when my sister and I and our cousins were helping his bride get ready at their house, she went in the backyard and saw their cheap, checkered white and red plastic barbecue tables and burst into tears. She was sobbing about how deeply ashamed she felt that her family and friends from college were going to see their cheapskate $700 wedding, and see her walk through her own backyard in a $90 dollar store dress like a middle schooler at prom. She said she thought her wedding would be special, and if she knew it would be this way, she would have eloped rather than feel humiliated in front of everyone she knew. They had to redo her make after her crying. So she's just as materialistic as normal people are. Why does he think she told people not to take pictures on their wedding day? He was livid, ranting that he spent $700 giving her a nice wedding and he's not going to waste his money on something so stupid, so how dare I say that about his now wife? He said, no one cares about weddings and materialistic parties. He's like a child with no concept of money or taste. I informed him the average cost of a wedding is $34,000. He humiliated his wife, and their wedding was the type caddy people will gossip about for years. He was so mad he drove home through the snow. The top replies, everyone sucks. You threw your cousin's wife under the bus just to twist the knife and punish your cousin, and you're the kind of caddy person who is still gossiping about his wedding later. Your cousin needs to butt out and quit griping about business that isn't his. You both sound awful. The second reply, I mean, I agree with everyone as the idiot in that original poster made life harder for his cousin's wife. But cousin's wife made this situation virtually inevitable by concealing a major thing from her spouse, her own unhappiness, while revealing it to other people he knows, so it's kind of a faffo on her part. If you don't communicate in your marriage will blow up. That's just so much a natural law of the universe that it's almost pointless to moralize about it. Unless, of course, she is communicating about it, and he's just too much an idiot for it to reach him, or she can't risk initiating a terminal conflict in her marriage, because while in theory ending an unhappy marriage is better than continuing it, people stay in marriages for other reasons, especially when their spouse is a financially controlling idiot. The third reply, everyone is the idiot. Your cousin naturally for continuing to emphasize how his way is the right way. But you as well because you did not get permission from his wife to share her feelings regarding her own wedding to him. Aside from that, there are plenty of weddings that are nice that cost far less than $34K, and more than $700, but if both parties agree on doing something really small and low cost, it wouldn't matter either. Fourth story. My husband called me a slut for not wearing a bra. I have medium-sized boobs that sit pretty high, so I sometimes don't wear a bra if I don't have to, depending on my outfit. I was leaving for work and hugged my husband goodbye. He stared at me and commented about me not wearing a bra. I had a long sleeve under scrub on and a jacket over it. I told him my jacket will be zipped so it's not like anyone will see. He said, I don't like you going to work like that. I wouldn't want anyone thinking my wife is a slut. I was surprised and asked, you think I look like a slut? He nodded and said, go fix it. I brought up my jacket again, but he hushed me and said, don't make me think you want to be a slut. I honestly felt like crying and still do. I was caught off guard. I didn't think there would be any problem. I know he didn't exactly call me it, but it hurts when he uses words like that. The top replies, it's most concerning that he said, don't make me think you want to be a slut. That sort of transference of personal responsibility is not all right. I hope this is not the case, but it can be a warning of manipulation by some emotional abusers. If you never then I never would have had to speak to him directly and listen to your gut. Best wishes to you.